get there before you get there. So from the practical point of view, really what we want is that you make sure that you get your international student identity card and your European health insurance card. That will give you, if you're in Europe, that will give you the coverage that you need. If you're away from Europe or anyway, get insurance. Some universities, especially in North America, will ask you for certain insurances. You will have to take it. There's no two ways about it. Make sure that you have a passport that's valid. It has to be for normally for most places more than 6 months after your return. Make sure that this is actually ready. Make sure that your fees are up to date, that you know your online banking, that your SIM is unlocked. If there's going to be any issues with your credit card, the banks will try to get you on your phone, so make sure that they can reach you. If you need passport photos, always get them. Sure, there's no harm in having passport photos in case you need it for clubs or whatever. You are going for a whole academic year. So you want to fully enjoy the opportunities that are there. Before you go, be mindful of making financial commitments, scamming around accommodation. Just be wise, okay? If something doesn't look right, it probably isn't wise. It isn't right, okay? Check the regulations and guidelines. You know yourself, the life right now looks a bit different than what it looked in 2019. Travel look a bit different. The way we behave, needing mask, not needing mask, indoors, outdoors, each country has their own regulations. Make sure that you know what they are. And, you know, I think Gemma said very rightfully, our guards are extremely lenient. This isn't the case everywhere. Make sure that you meet the health and hygiene protocols. Look, we are still under COVID situation. We see that get your vaccine because now you can actually get it. Make sure that you get it. Because some places will ask for, like Ireland, will ask for vaccine status. Things may change, they will change, so make sure that you're on top of the guidelines. And there's the international travel toolkit that JB put together for you to follow up and see what's required of you. In terms of your own safety, keep your personal and valuable belonging. If you share apartments, keep them safe. I'm telling that from experience. When I was sharing apartment, I thought that everyone is absolutely cool and honest, and my money was stolen from me. That was not nice. I was 12. You get over it. But if you can prevent that happening, do that. It's not fun. Make familiar with yourself. See where you're studying. See where you're living. See what's the best route to get to your work placement. If there's orientation session taking place by your campus, by your host university, go to it. See where, but ask where it's safe and where isn't safe. Don't assume that everywhere is safe. Galway is very safe. Not everyone is. Just so you know where what parts really aren't safe for you to wander in, okay? And don't go there, okay? It's not worth it. You know, we are driving on the other side of the road, or they are driving on the other direction, depends where you're coming from. For me, this is the other side. So, you know, just pay attention. I'm not going to talk about alcohol consumption. You know all of this. Let people know where you are. Don't go alone at night. These are things that really you should know that, okay? You know, most people are honest, most people are good, most people have good intentions. What you want to do is to avoid those that don't, okay? Without getting too paranoid over it. But as we're actually, every time you travel, you should also check whether there's travel advice from the Department of Foreign and Foreign Affairs. One thing that has changed a lot for us this summer, as opposed to last summer, is that first, non-essential travel is permitted. And the second is that travel for studies and work exchange and practice work placement is now deemed as necessary, which means that you can travel, but you still need to be wise when you travel and be aware of what's going on. When you're going to abroad, wherever you go abroad, you're representing your country, whether you want it or not. But when you go abroad as a student, you also represent your program, you represent the university, you represent the country. You know, be good ambassadors of your programs, be good ambassadors of NUI Galway, make us proud. When you do that, not only you get potential references for your next workplace, you're also paving the ways for others. And that's very important. The success of much of our exchanges are building on your behavior and the behavior of past students. They paved the way for you. So, you know, remember that. Learn other people's customs because it's interesting. And if you worry that you're going to miss mommy's food or Irish food, learn how to cook your favorite dish. Show off to other people. That will make you feel most at home, at least what I find. If there's any emergency, okay, look first at the local emergency services. See what the either university or workplace and protocol is around it. If there's any emergency in the country, let your family know how you're doing. Get in touch with the Department of Foreign Affairs, and get in touch with your program director. Okay, we are here to help you, and I'm the Vice Dean for Internationalization, but I'm also a program director. And when my students go abroad, I'm there for them, and that's true for your program coordinators or your Erasmus coordinators. Okay, we're there. You have the counseling office. You have us. Okay, we will help you navigate your way. Okay, so get in touch if you need to. Don't disappear. If you have any problems, alert us early. The earliest you alert us, the more we can do. Okay, that's very important for you to know. As outgoing students, you need to arrange your own accommodation. Okay, even though some placement or universities will help you with this, it still is your responsibility. Again, if you're renting in the private market, be vigilant of scams. They are getting more and more common. So don't pay outright large sums of money. It doesn't make sense for someone to want the rent for a whole year, say. Okay, if that's asked of you, question that. Okay, and make sure as far as you can that the accommodation is safe and secure. Make sure you have visas where you need them. And that means that if you need a US visa, try to get it as soon as you can. Yes, there are issues with that. Try and get your appointment as soon as you can by ringing and asking, and apparently that seems to work. But we are at the same time trying to see that you will be able to get your visas as you go, before you go. Obviously, for the US, that is a big thing. Most of you are going for Europe, that is easier. Again, make sure what is required. Some universities want to make sure that you're fully vaccinated. So you need to get the EU digital cert for vaccination for your status. You need to make sure you have travel insurance. If you're going to places that requires health insurance, you need to get health insurance. That should cover you from accidents, medical emergency, repatriation, cancellation, personal liability, and COVID. Make sure that whatever you take covers COVID-19 issues. Not all insurance immediately offer it, but look for it because this is something that could be relevant. We cannot predict the future. What we've learned is that things are really very, very changeable. So be prepared. That's all we can say. You know, be as prepared as you can so that you can enjoy most of your experience. Again, there's the undergraduate toolkit with all the information. And the important thing here is that it is also updating regularly. So whenever we have new information, and actually JB from the international office is the one responsible for that, he makes sure that the information is available and up to date. So use it. So far, the first two parts are the first two parts that we would have with students every year before they go. Okay, we have a pre-departure session that is either delivered by the international office or by the program director. But this year, and actually as of last year, we also need you to be active in preparing for your assessment or in assessing your mobility. And what I'm going to go now is to the third part of the session, which is talking about the student mobility assessment. The purpose of this form that you are going to be asked to fill is to help you engage with why you're going on mobility, what is it that is required, what are you going to do that, and answer and discuss queries and concerns. It will help you prompt, it might prompt you issues for you that you need to check before you go. We want to make sure that you know what to check. So the form that you are going to get, the MS form, will help you think and assess your mobility. And that is very important. And this is required before you go. So when you do it, you need to give proper attention for planning your and understanding what is expected of you, for us to give us information about when you're going to travel, how you're going to travel, to see that you have considered the risks of your the risk and your personal safety. This is about understanding that you have responsibility as students. You're not just traveling and having exchange or work placement. You also need to think about what you're doing, okay? And this is the purpose of this mobility assessment form. You will get links, and if you haven't got links yet from your program directors and you're not getting it, ask for them, okay? You have to fill it before you go. So basically, you need to make sure that the mobility is mandatory, is important, is a must. You have to fill in the form about your mobility. On the other end of things, every program director has to fill their own form. So basically, we're collecting this information. We're making sure that we know where you're going, that we know that you know where you're going, that you know who to get in touch with if you need to, that you looked at the student declaration, that you signed it off, that you have insurance policy purchased that includes COVID-19, that you've attended this session. And again, we have our organizational assessments, which we do at our end, okay? And that gives us the full picture. If anything happens, we know how to get in touch and who to speak to. And that's very important, okay? So we want to see that you have, that you can provide, or we want to see your information about your travel arrangement, health factors, that you are aware of local and regional conditions, and what do you know about your work and study environment. Again, this is filled on the two ends of things. So you will get a link that will be sent to you by email. You will have about 48 hours to complete it. Again, if you didn't get it, you ask it, please, from your program directors. You cannot go without it. Either your program director or your study abroad officer. And again, that is mandatory. This is how it's going to look. It's going to look like the form that you see here, and we're going to go stage by stage. So the first section is about your general information, your name, your ID, your program, your college. So students on all colleges, every student at NUIG that goes on placement have to fill that form. We then ask you to know whether the activity is credit bearing. For some, it isn't. For you in ours, it is. Confirm where you're going to, okay, and where you have the dates of travel. Okay, if you don't have the exact dates, if you don't have your tickets yet, that's fine. Tell us roughly when you're going and where you're due to come back. Okay, if there's going to be what type of work it's going to be. Is it lab work? Is it office work? Is it study abroad? Because again, we have study abroad and we have placement, and we'll put them together on that form. Okay, you know where you're going. What is the purpose of your travel? We want you to know your up-to-date phone number, mobile phone number. Who do we get in touch? That you know who to who would you want us to contact if there's any emergency. We need to have this information, and that's to confirm that you know who to contact on the university. If not, you'll need to get in touch with your program director to make sure that you know who to get in touch with. And then there's the declaration, which is about what do you agree to do, or that you've read and understand the responsibilities, the due diligence, the good public health practices, insurance, finances. So within the form and on the toolkit, or outgoing mobility toolkit, you have the text, the PDF of the student declaration, and you need to read it. If you haven't read it and you can't, and you can see there's only yes there, okay? You can't submit the form without confirming that you read it. Please read it, okay? Not as we do so many times when we accept the updates of our favorite applications, okay? Actually do read it and see what's required of you and what is expected of you, okay? Travel insurance should cover accidental, medical, and emergency treatment. Personal liability repatriation, i.e. getting you back to the country should you need to come back. Personal baggage, effects, money. And again, it needs to be for the whole period if you stay abroad, and it needs to cover COVID-19, okay? And I'm repeating it so many times because not all the travel insurance policies include COVID-19, and they won't necessarily say that to you. So check that you do have that covered, okay? If you don't, you may find out that you do need to come back or need to cut for whatever reason, if you need expenses to be covered for medical reasons that are COVID, that are related, that may be not covered, okay? So make sure that you have COVID-19 on your insurance specifically and explicitly. Okay, then we want to look at your mobility assessment, the travel arrangement. Where are you going to travel from? Now, you may think this is quite clear, but some people are actually starting their placement or their exchange from other than Ireland. So we need to know where you're going to, where are you going from. If you are not travel direct, how are you going to get the train, flight via, etc. And that you have checked what are the guidelines for that destination. Now, that is again true for every time you travel, wherever you travel. But since you are students and you're under our responsibility, we need to make sure that you have checked it, as opposed to you going as tourists. We need to see that the travel arrangements are compliant with official government travel advice. There should be. I don't think any of you is going to any country where there's real risk at the moment, but you need to check that. And to make sure that you will register your residence with the Department of Foreign Affairs. This is for, in case there's anything happening in this area, any emergency, they'll know to get in touch with you. So it's very important, and it is for your own safety. We're looking for your health information details, that you're aware what are the health issues that are the challenges, and you're happy to, that you understand and agree to them. If there's anything that you need us to know, if you have any medical conditions, we need to make sure that you know how to follow it up where you're going, okay? That you have done all the prep work to know that you can go safely and get attention to any medical conditions that you may have, okay? Be it through the counseling or through the medical card, or making sure that you're going to be covered, okay? And that's very important. That you're aware of public health factors. Again, you can find all the information on the website of the Department of Foreign Affairs to see what are the advice. And if there's anything that you think that you're aware of and need to know, that you have done whatever searches you need to be done, and that you're adhering to the health guidelines. Okay, so to adhere them, they need to check that. So all of this is through looking at the DFA website. So as you can see, it's not straightforward, just yes, yes, yes. You actually need to do some groundwork, but this is very important that you do it. It's very important because it is essentially for your own safety. And we're just directing you to do this to make sure that you really do your work, and that you go and able to fully immerse yourself in the experience without compromising your health and safety. Okay, again, if you've answered yes, that you do have any problems, chronic health problems, please put whatever information that you want in terms of the plans that you have or the guidelines. How are you going to address them? And how are you going to, that you're aware of the practices, the local practices, as well as the World Health Organization guidelines. Again, you can find them in the WHO.international int, and each country has its profile page where you can find information. So that's on top on the DFA website. Is it an overkill? Yes, it is. But times are not regular, and we need to make sure that you're safe, and we need to make sure that you take ownership on your safety, because while we can do our best, you're adults, and you need to take responsibility of your decisions and actions. If there's any location, regional factor that we need to take into account, check that. Ireland is small. Okay, as a small island, there's no big differences between Munster and Connacht, but you may go to countries which are much larger, and there could be guidelines in Los Angeles that don't apply to New York State. Okay, there could be issues in south of Spain that don't apply to North Spain. So you need to check if there's anything happening, any issues that you need to be aware of. Okay. And there's if to check if there's any specific public safety guidelines that are relevant, if there's any social unrest or what have you. Okay. And then if there's anything that we need to know of, just find, put that information there. Then we're asking for you to make sure that if for whatever reason you will need to learn online while there, that you actually have a proper way to do that experience, that you still have that the full experience as much as possible. Currently, we don't anticipate that to happen, but again, things are changing very rapidly. So we don't know what's going to happen in the next 9-10 months, okay? But so you have to make sure that you can stay there and still have your experiences, that you will be able to meet your program learning objectives should you resort to working at learning or working remotely. And then we'll look to see whether there's other placements that could affect there are other concerns or conditions that could affect your well-being and safety. Okay, and if yes, now why do we need to know this? We need to know it because then we can work with you and make sure that you're safe and that we can address those. Okay, and remember, we are here. So if you're struggling with anything, we're here and we will support you. Okay. Rationale for travel, really, this is about essential travel. Again, this is quite simple because your purpose of travel is now deemed essential. So that's, again, that was hard work to get that going through the government and approved, but that has been now approved. Okay. Did you attend? You need to confirm that you've attended a pre-departure session. If you're here or if you're watching the recording, then the answer is yes. If you haven't, then you'll know you haven't. And then basically you need to submit the form. Now, if for whatever reason, or before you submit it, download it as a PDF. If for whatever reason you're not able to submit it, send the PDF form to your program director. There shouldn't be an issue, but as things do tend to happen, we make sure that you have your own copy. Then check your email once you have, to the link for the mobility assessment, to the link for the to the pre-departure checklist that you will be getting, and then to the confirmation that you have submitted the form. And I think you can ask for the form to be mailed to you, but irrespective, please keep it. Please keep a PDF version of it so that you can make sure that you have that. So if it's not submitted, you can still send it to your program director. Okay. So that's it from me, and I'm going to try and stop share. Okay, and I'll bring it to you. If you have any questions to us, any clarifications, just put your hands up. You're making it that easy on us. JB, is there anything that we've missed that you'd want to highlight?
No, I think it's well covered, and just understand that the mobility assessment process, as you said, is really just about helping you engage with the experience, and so that you're well armed as you go to your destination, and that there aren't any unpleasant surprises, or that, so really it's just to kind of help with the experience and trying to kind of maximize the potential of the experience, if you know where you're going and if you know what to expect, really. So it's not something to be frightened of, certainly not something that anybody's trying to be caught out on,
Yeah, I'll add, from the perspective of program director, I can say that when you guys, or the likes of you, come back after a year abroad or a semester abroad, the learning, the growth is unreal. We can see how transformative this period is, and therefore we really tried hard to make sure that we prepare you to it, and we made sure that that travel abroad, that mobility can happen. So it's very important for us to have a good grasp on what's going to happen. JP, where will you upload the recording to?
Sorry, we will upload it to the student toolkit.
Okay.
The link of which I will put into the sidebar at the minute.
Okay. And you will have 2 sessions, okay? The wellness one and the second session that we had now. Yes, if you're going to Finn, if you're going to 2 countries, you will need to fill in 2 forms, okay? Because they are different. Equally, your program directors, separate Erasmus coordinators, will have to fill in 2 forms for you for the 2 different, I'm assuming this is university that you're going to, okay? Okay. Okay, so look, irrespective to where you're traveling with, and again, JB, correct me if I'm wrong there, you can travel with, well, you're not supposed to leave the country with a foreign passport, okay? You certainly will not be able to enter back or have issues of entering back a country, Ireland, with a foreign passport, okay? But you can travel. I don't think that your passport is going to be checked. JB, again, correct me if you're wrong, when you leave the country apart from at the desk.
Yeah, my own experience of this is if you use the same passport for outbound as your inbound travel. So if you outbound on your British passport for convenience, then you should return.
Okay. Okay. And then whether you register or not with the local embassy or the DFA, that has nothing to do with the passport you're
you can certainly still register with the embassy
absolutely
under your Irish passport whilst there, and we should do so.
Yeah. Okay. In terms of your learning, if you haven't received it yet, I'm trying to, Kate, if you haven't received that, you should have. If you didn't sell it, it's fine. The link is still alive. You need to submit it within 48 hours. This is more for us keeping in touch of keeping on top of what you need to submit. It's absolutely fine. Just fill it as soon as you can after attending this session, okay? You don't have to fill in, Finn, you don't have to fill in your travel plans now. You can wait. Essentially, there will be another session for the second semester, second semester mobility, and a link will be sent to you by the program, the Erasmus coordinator for the second Erasmus, okay? So you only need your first semester filled in at that stage. It will go to different program directors. Yeah, it's good to know, JB. I knew that you're not supposed to go back to a country with a different passport, but maybe British and Irish are a bit different in terms of.
Yeah,
so good to know.
I think it's just simpler, and it's not. You don't want to create any confusion for immigration officers, and it's nice and simple. They can see that you left and now that you're returning. That's my recommendation. There may be other kind of permutations, but keep it simple.
And by that, you will have your passport with you anyway. Should you show your Irish one, you will actually have it. No, I can't send the link for the mobility assessment in this chat. And the reason that I can't do it is because it has to go to your program director, okay? I don't know, Casey, who's your program director, who's your sending program. So I can't, that will have to come from them. So each of the forms is going to be linked to your program, and they will be the one collecting that information, okay? Cool. Katie, what program are you on? Okay, so that will come from Catherine Emerson in that case, Katie. Sean, yes, you can fill it in. Actually, this session is mainly for first semester mobility. So you can wait until you'll get the form from your program director. If you get it already, you can fill it the estimations one if you have them, okay? you could also update them. But our more concern is about those going in September in a month's time. That's the urgency. Okay. Any more questions? So let me reiterate. If there's any questions, your program directors are there for you. Your Erasmus coordinators are there for you. The fact that you're not on campus doesn't mean that you're not our students. You're still our students. That's why we're going through all this session. We are still there for you. The most important is there's a lot of things that we can help you with that you're not aware of. Okay, you don't know now what issues you may run into. The sooner you get in touch with us, the sooner we can help you. Okay, the sooner we can advise you what's the best course of action. Don't hold back. Get in touch. We are there to support you. We're there to help you through that. We're there to help you navigate to this amazing year that you're going to have, or semester. But just remember that the sooner you get in touch with us, the sooner we can help you. Have a ball, have the great experience of your life, keep safe, and keep healthy.
Yes, and thanks everybody for attending.
Yes, absolutely. And again, it's all going to be online if you need to catch up.
Okay, I'll close it out.
Yeah.
So I think there's
and I think,
a couple of us left.
yeah.
Okay, everyone. Mikhail, thanks a
Okay.
million. I'll talk to
Sure.
you soon.
You take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.